Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond. I welcome you to another episode of my Q series. Please know to understand Q is to have an open mind. Okay, so that's why you might see my intro change a little bit from episode to episode, because Q is just a symbol. It is a symbol meant to trigger that of which it is impossible to believe and to try to make sense of, because it will force you to believe in another to see if that other aspect allows you to understand what it is that you need to either learn more of or let go of. Okay, and that immediately allows one to understand where they are at the path of accepting anything that has to do with Q symbolism. I, as a reader, stretched the mind and possibly also incurring cognitive dissonance in having and providing a reading on Q. I am not advocating for QAnons in any shape or form. To do so would go against figuring out the overall symbolism, what Q is trying to lead us all to understand individually on our own and at the pace that we are ready to take on these information or certain topics that may come through and your own point of discovery, and even accepting Q into your thought process and maybe even into your hearts and maybe into your beliefs. But always the choice is yours with every reading, with every time you have anything going on in your life, whether it's something that you feel you had no choice but to be in. We have a choice how to figure out how to get ourselves out of it. Some of us get robbed of certain choices, but the continuing lesson is how to get better at reaching decisions and making sure that we have an understanding with ourselves. Pardon me, the energies are starting to come through. So just remember that with any reading of mine or anything in this bracket, to understand that anything that may resonate with you on a timeline of past, present, and or future energetical timelines that could come forth of resonancy for you, to use your discernment to take all of that which belongs to you and to leave naturally the things behind. You will notice that nothing is for you if you realize that what you're trying to leave behind is hard for you to let go of. All right. That's when your body is naturally inquisitive to what you're practicing cognitive dissonance against, because you're feeling something, a part of you is feeling a resistance that wants to see eye to eye with it, to figure out in the dueling process who's going to win that battle, who's going to win that war. It's conflicting, compounding energies trying to figure out how to compromise and live with harmony amongst each other, and understanding that chemical reactions can come from that. Okay, those chemical reactions could be, of layman's terms, your neurons, receptors that are triggering or triggered and to be triggered by your consent, and listen to these messages from beginning to end, and knowing that whatever is triggered within you, it's your own vibrations of self that feel compelled to feel triggered by that of which your body is telling you in a physiological, sensational way, a vibrational way, on what it feels vibrationally moved by. All right, first it will be recognition of some sort of resistance. That resistance is uncomfortable. You meet eye to eye to that level of resistance. Battle begins, and then you figure out who wins the war. All right, you go back into figuring out the blueprint, if that worked for you or not, and in that paradigm you understand what governing the mind is all about, the overall message of what Q is trying to portray, and that of which it is that I read the energy of. looking at things that are outside of you will forever honor that of which you hold true within you to make sense in how you would like to operate. In that analogy, you are a mirror for everything, and everything in front of you is a mirror unto you. Whether you practice something like being grateful of something is only the denomination of how much focused attention you're going to bring to a subject to be focused on, and see how much you can accept that of which it is you're vibing with. Turning that into Q symbolism is to understand it is a powerful situation that's ranked in the high intelligence high military intelligence ranking. And in that, it covers a level of truth that has been proven to not be able to understand how it was mathematically possible for Q to predict the outcomes of which were to be explored if you were to look for the hunt of what it means to understand why you are perplexed of self and overall earth politics. To see the symbol is to honor that it can cover brackets of multifaceted examples, situations, outcomes, catalysts, injustices that mathematically that mankind has been able to understand and reach in their own technological advances are impossible to compute as to how it was possible for Q to reach those denominations of factoring and provide truths as they already have occurred already. Meanwhile, allowing the individual to understand that not only a situation is to come, but in the same time already has been solved. Q phenomenon asks you to follow the money. To follow your money with compassion at your heart, compassion to understand that wherever the transaction of those money values went to see what the ultimate physiological, emotional losses that came with that. If the truth was a truth that was an equal funding for all, or if it was from a selfish greed. And if that selfish greed was tied to a level of hierarchy, why that hierarchy isn't forced by ether and that of which we believe to be Christ consciousness, the ruler of all, how can it not be stabilized for equal equanimity for all earth people without it concluding war? Q provides that cognitive dissonance to be introduced into your life, so that way you give yourself maybe a nanodecimal of a fraction of a degree of a perspective that you may be wrong on whatever it is that you believe in, whether it covers the topics of aliens, unicorns, fairy tales, dimensions, DMT, psilocybin, or any of the things that you have at your exposure to go at the adventure of following your own white rabbit. It's to provide a scavenger of tools, and that scavenger of tools is for the people to pick up on their own, like it's their own personal Easter hunt, and figure out whether or not you see the anomalies of just how much it doesn't make sense to prove yourself in overrunning traditions with no spiritual value. Where is the currency in that? And the currency of that overall equation of whether one-size-fits-all shoe is supposed to make everyone happy on earth through this world politics is just not true, time and time and time again. The change you want has already taken place. For the golden race, the golden age, has returned once more. If you seek penance and confessing thy sins internally, you will reach the antenna of what it means to have judgment upon yourself and resurrecting yourself and knowing that change that you strive for, you must show up for in doing. And calling out not only your own bullshit, but also your strengths. And to be the true ruler of that which it is you feel vibrating and called to be from the inside inquisition of that which it is you are from ear to ear. And from crown of the head all the way down to the soles of whatever it is that allows your body to touch earth vibration. Judgment is yours for the taking. It is not something that is going to be of Armageddon style or an apocalypse for you to not even understand how to be in the battle. This is an equal opportunity situation. Everyone has a chance to see it. Everyone has a chance to process it. Everyone has a chance to reach its own internalized and external judgments. You can literally practice your own freedom of speech and see the cost of those equations wherever you are from earth vibrations. Of course, there are world politics designed from border to border that make that a bit difficult to understand. How civilians and how maybe in those versions of hierarchy they're considered elite, aka government. To understand that no matter how the government intertwines itself for the people, we know the people, we suffer the consequences the most because those people that try to rule us and say that we should go in the hands of them to protect us also are runners of not meeting their own true judgment. And their own true judgment was tested by Q to release information that would prove all of that which is equal for humanity to know, and not in justification that one person knows and is greedy and chews in breadcrumbs what to deliver for the rest. That is not how we equally share. That is not how we gain profit of any type of material gain, no matter how high your assets and financial paradigms go. Q says you've been deceived, even to the point of your death. For echelons of time you may have heard the whispers of to not stepping into the light upon the time of when you see death upon you. You've been deceived, because that's how the ether of eternal light of darkness has been able to foster your energy of never stepping into that light by using your soul to foster off of, without you knowing it was not of God, but in the shadow of what he cannot see. Protect your assets. Protect your finances. Prove either that you hate or love unconditional love to get to the root race of that which it is that you are. You want a lot, but you ask for too much. Q is an enigma. Follow your emotions. Pay attention. Create. I love you. This is very important imagery here for the mirror. Tolerance. Celebration. Alignment. If you have tattoos, pay attention to their vibrations. Balance. All right. That concludes the messages of Q. If you'd like any of my services, feel free to check them out in the description box below. Either way, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. Take care.